It's okay. You can just listen with me.
Okay, we begin right. I think verse 8, we last time we come with verse number 8, endlessly reborn in psychic existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three sufferings, thinking that all mothers are in such a condition and generate the supreme mind of enlightenment. Right. Those who have supreme precious mind. So this, then the definition of having generated the mind of enlightenment, this is not included in the actual text, right? In short, if like the mother whose cherished son has fallen into a pit of fire and who experiences even 1 second of his suffering as an unbearable eternity. Your reflection on the suffering of all mother sentient beings has made it impossible for you to bear their suffering for even 1 second, and the wish seeking enlightenment for their sake arises without effort. Then you have realized the supreme precious mind of enlightenment, right? Yeah. So this is not, not in the root text. This verse is not in the root text. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody put in the here. So then last time we have discussed about the there are two ways of cultivating the mind of enlightenment, right? Mind of enlightenment. These two are the training in the cause and effect instruction, and then equalizing self and others. Last time we discussed about the instruction on the instruction on sevenfold cause and effect precepts, right? So now today we are going to discuss about equalizing self and others, and also exchanging self and others, right? And And then we also discuss about maybe the practice of giving and taking, you know, because these things are very important, right? So here we talk about you know, the instruction on equalizing self and others, right? Equalizing self and others also is a method for cultivating the mind of enlightenment or altruistic mind, right? Altruistic mind. So when we, so here equalizing self and others, you know. What kind of meditation is involved in equalizing self and others, right? Equalizing self and others, equalizing self and other does not mean we all are same, right? We are here. Here, when we talk about equalizing self and others, that means, you know, that means all the sentient beings are same in a sense that we all want happiness, right? Just as you want happiness, others want happiness, right? Just as you don't want suffering, others also do not want suffering, right? So this one, so this is the basis, you know, this is the very basis. So based on this understanding, at the understanding that we all are same, that we do not want, just as you do not want suffering, others also do not want, right? So at this fundamental level, you know, this is a, you know, a fundamental thing. And then, you know, once we appreciate, once we value and appreciate that we all want happiness, you know, from the side of the sentient beings, just as you want happiness, they also want happiness, right? So this is the main thing, right? And then based on this kind of instruction, you know, based on this kind of training, now after this, now we then train in we then train in letter, we then train in, you know, what is called as equanimity, right? We already discussed equanimity. First, we need to train in the equanimity in the practice. You know, first we take the ones, you know, close one, right? We take first, yeah, we take the ones, you know, close one. Then, you know, we close one, and then once neutral, you know, stranger, you know. After that, we extend, then you know, equalize, you know, with one's enemy, you know, or somebody who give you a hard time, lot of, you know, difficult time, you know. So in all these cases, you know, they're same, you know, right? They're same in wanting happiness and do not want suffering. Once we are well trained, then we can extend to all this one's neighboring, you know, one's neighboring, not far away, but just neighboring, because it is directly we are associated, right? So once you know, equalize with our neighboring. Once we are well trained, then we can shift to all the sentient beings, right? All the mother sentient beings. All the mother sentient beings. And then after this, last time we discussed about the sevenfold mind training, right? So after this, like, training all sentient beings sense one's mother. So after that, we train in the all sentient beings sense one's mother, right? After that, once you gain, stability in this, meditation, then we move to remembering the, kindness, remembering the kindness. Now here, last time when we talk about, when we talk about sevenfold cause and effect instructions, right? The second one is remembering kindness. Now here also remembering the kindness. So there's a different, in the sevenfold effect and, sevenfold cause and effect instructions, we remember the kindness because we remember what kindness, because we remember the kindness of one's mother. We remember the kindness of all the sentient beings. But here we remember the kindness of the sentient beings. Why? Because all the sentient beings are grateful to you. So there's a difference, right? Here, all the sentient beings are so grateful to you, right? Now that's very important, how sentient beings are very grateful to you, right? Whatever we do, the food that we eat is due to the other's kindness. The clothes that we wear, the dress that we wear is others' kindness. All the, household, things that we use comes from the other's kindness, right? Others' kindness. Almost, even the, the job that we get is others' kindness. Even the income that we get is others' kindness, right? Without others' kindness, almost we cannot, live, Even the meditator, where they live in a very high mountain, even, the food, they do get is others' kindness, right? So everything, that we do is purely due to, even the, what we call as the, your one's reputation, one's good name, all these things, comes from others' kindness, right? Now, just take a small example, right? You see, normally the food, just the food or whatever the clothes that we wear, if we try to check, how others' kindness are involved, Now, where does this food come from, right? This food come from, not from sky, not from, grown, from something like ready-made from the soil, right, underground. So the food first, then, these food, food quality, the rice, for example, just take the rice or vegetables, fresh vegetables. The rice, all many people are involved. All many people are involved, The farmers involved. Then the, just for example, right, the farmers, they involved. Then what happens is, the farmers, for example, like pesticides, right, used, and then a lot of animals also get killed, right? And then, and then not only that, the farmers work day and almost all the day, to get a good harvest of the crop, right? So they all, do a whole lot of hard work, And then after the rice, after you take, then you harvest, and then this go to industry or company. The industry, they make the package. How many people involved, For that work, how many people may, lost their life, It is possible. Then not only that, then somebody wants that they put the, package. You need to do the whole lot of package, the name, the printing, all the plastic, whole lot of things. And then not only this, Once it is done in the company, again somebody has to bring it back. Somebody, need to drive the truck to get it at the store. So in between this, all lot of things are involved, Right? Yeah, like this. So then sometimes we may wonder, oh, this is my hard work, I work, I get this income. Well, it's my hard work, But then what happens is, even if you have money, if you have no rights, how can you survive? How can we survive, right? Just having a money alone is not enough, If we have no material, eating material, what to do, right? Right. And then, for example, the coronavirus in the beginning, people, uh, when this, broke out, people fearing that all the, the food stuff, some people go and buy, whole lot of, package, right? And then later people, when they come, even though they do have money, but it's not enough, money. Just having a money is enough, you need the material. If there is no material, what to do with the money, right? So that means, just only for the packet of rice, that we do eat, whole lot of people's kindness are involved, people's kindness are involved. So if we, not only this rice, there even the dress, the dress and all these things, many people are involved, right? Even sentient beings are involved, right? Sentient beings are involved, animals are involved, So like this. So we understand these things, all the sentient beings are in one way or in another way so grateful to, so grateful to us, so very grateful to us. So this is how we, remember the kindness, not from the perspective of all the sentient beings, from the as one's mother. This is what we already discussed. All sentient beings are, have been one's mother. So I have to remember the kindness. But here, in the equalizing self and others, we are training sentient. We need to remember the kindness. Why we need to remember the kindness is because sentient beings, all the sentient beings are so grateful to you, in many ways, right? Many ways, right? Then after this, so here now, after this, now what we do is, after this kind of reflection, uh, um, after this kind of with this reflection, then we train, in the what is called as exchanging self and others, exchanging self and others, right? So exchanging self and others means, right, exchanging self and others means, since beginningless lifetime, since very beginningless lifetime, we have been, we cherish ourselves more, we neglect others, well-being. We neglect, ignore others' welfare, we cherish ourselves, so, so strongly. So now exchanging self and others means now this kind of meditation involves now you cherish others more than what we cherish ourselves, right? Now we cherish others and pay less, uh, pay less attention, or we cherish others more and we cherish ourselves less. Right. Right. Now here, this kind of meditation, exchanging self and others, why we do that, right? Why we really do this kind of meditation is right, because, now first we, in order to train, in order to really get some kind of, feeling, in order to, to get some kind of, feeling, we really need to understand, we need to understand the benefits of, the benefits of cherishing others and the disadvantages of cherishing ourselves, right? The disadvantages of cherishing, cherishing ourselves, because, so this is now becomes very important, right? All the things, all the, all the problem, all the trouble, all the problem, all the inauspicious, all the inauspicious, so we get sick, sometimes we get unsuccessful, sometimes, we expect it, but things turn out to be, not expected, things turn out to be different, right? So all this, what we desire, is not coming, all this comes from where, all this comes from where, all this comes from, comes from purely from cherishing oneself, cherishing oneself, because cherishing oneself result in nothing, result in nothing. Only result is disaster, the problem, we get what we don't want, right? All the, unpleasant situations, we invite, although of course we want happiness, but then we truly want happiness, do not want suffering. The method, the method that we employed is unrealistic. Why unrealistic? Is because we cherish ourselves too much, neglecting the others' welfare, right? Like this. So now, so, all this, problem, all the trouble is the very root, is the very, it's the very root of one's, right? Now here important thing is, because of this self-cherishing, so we attach, we attach with our own, kind of, kind of happiness. We attach with our happiness, and we attach with our own, welfare of our own, surrounding, right? Surrounding. Now, because of this, we create a lot of negative karma, right? This negative karma then in turn give rise to suffering. Suffering. Here, the important thing is the entire sentient being can be raised as your enemy, but none of the seven, entire sentient being, but none of the entire sentient being has no potential to drag you in the deepest hell, It is one's own self-cherishing attitude which drag us into the deepest hell. Right? I just. So, right, very interestingly, right, if we really take a, if we really take a very close look, now check, what happened is, I mean, in our everyday life, in our everyday life, when we cherish others, others are happy, right? Others are really happy when we cherish. No, when we cherish. No, first, when others cherish you, how happy you are, right? When other people cherish you, you are happy. Similarly, when we cherish others, others are happy, right? When we cherish others, others will love you. When others will love you, others will love you. When others will love you, you are happy, right? Because it's a, our common sense to nobody wants, angry face. Nobody wants a really angry face early in the morning, just smile, So when other people, really, show affection, love, cherish, we feel happy. When we feel happy, we are happy. So this is it. Happiness is what we want. Happiness is what we want. Suffering is that what we do not want. So that's it, So we get happiness. Finally, right? But then, then what really happens is, if we cherish only ourselves, what really becomes is, one's mind becomes very narrow, one's mind narrow, right? And then because of this self-cherishing attitude, you invite more dislike. People dislike you. Sometimes in our everyday life, people say, oh, that person is so selfish, right? The selfish, do not think about other people, right? Like this. So, so when we self-cherish, then what happens is, we only thinking of our, we only thinking of our own happiness, only our own happiness, right? When we think of our own happiness, then what becomes? We really become the prisoner of our own selfish happiness. We really become the, the prisoner, a true prisoner of the selfish, your own selfish happiness. However, on the other hand, if we think about, if we cherish others, if we cherish others, others will love you, right? When others love you, you are happy. Happiness is what we want, and so you become the you become the infinity of that happiness. You become the expansive of that happiness, right? So this, we don't need much very, deep logic and sophisticated logic. Our own experience tell us, right? Experience tell us. And then very important thing is the great master Jitsongkhapa, he says, by fulfilling the welfare of others, one's own welfare is accomplished as a byproduct. This makes a very big, make a, great sense. It really makes a great sense, right? What does that mean? By fulfilling the welfare of others, your own welfare is fulfilled byproduct. as a byproduct, right? So now see, even we can talk from the dharma point of view as well as we can talk from the practical point of view, right? Dharma point of view, for example, if we really cherish others, if we really cherish the welfare of others, we get the we create a tremendous amount of merit, tremendous amount of virtue. So what is the nature of virtue is? This virtue produce happiness. So your own welfare is accomplished, byproduct. This comes from cherishing others, right? Another very important, important thing, the practical important thing is, now, for example, I already told this story a few times, the great, the Kadamba master, the great Kadamba master, Geshe Chegawa, really, who in later part of his life, dedicated doing the Lamrim practice, Lamrim meditation. And then they say, oh, now when the life is ending, when his life is ending, when he was about to die, this great master, really, expressed, worriness. He expressed so uncomfortable, he expressed uncomfortable. And then he asked his attendant, to make the offering, to set up the offering. So then, his attendant told him, you really look, worry. It looks you are unhappy, unpleasant. What causes you unpleasant? What causes you unhappy? He say, oh, now the thing is not good, Now the thing is not coming, good, This is not a good thing. Now the attendant told him, what kind of inauspicious you have? I do have inauspicious. He said, in all my meditation, I have been praying, I have been wishing, right? I have been praying, I'm doing meditation that I may take a birth in the deepest hell. Deepest hell, if I can take a birth in the deepest hell, I can help, I can save the beings in the deepest hell. But now, it is not coming. I really have the vision that I'm going to born in a pure land. Right? So like this is really wonderful. Truly wonderful. We have been praying, sometimes we have been praying, oh, may I born in the pure land, something like this, May I get my life success, everything go well, like this. But things not, things do not turn out as expected. On the other hand, those people, those really who cherish others more than cherishing oneself, they really do the opposite, They want the, the bad thing for themselves. But then opposite is happening. Good things are happening. No. So this is the power of the, exchanging self and others, right? For example, again, the great, the great master like Kadamba master like Chenga Waludi Kense, and also the great master Langri Thangba, who who composed the 8 verses of mind training, very popular master. So both of them, because of practicing exchanging self and others, wild animals can come and come near them. They don't afraid of the wild animals. Wild animals, they do not afraid of them. Very, harmony is there. And then one day, another great master is meditating. Great Jamila Ripa was meditating on the cave. He was meditating in a cave. All of a sudden, very wise, sound, very, great sound coming from outside. And then he come out from his cave, I haven't had any kind of this experience, very loud voice coming, it must be an obstacle, So he checked, and then he checked, and then, he saw a very deer, running. That deer was chasing by one, dog, dog. One dog. This dog, also, all the tongue, protruding out, and then the eyes very, big, then, then fearfully chasing after that, deer. And then he saw this, he saw this, this deer, so beautiful, right? At the same time, the dog, this dog, although in animal form, but full of hatred. So settle down, calm down. He say, you both, the dog and deer, you both calm down, I will give you the meditation on, Mahamudra. So let your anger and hatred dissolve into the Mahamudra. Like this. So on his one side, there's a dog. On his one side, there's a deer. Harmoniously, harmoniously stay beside him. So, and then all this, the dogs, the fear of the deer, the fear of the deer and the hatred of the dog, both pacified because of the love, because of Milarepa's, meditation on the power of the love, the power of exchanging self and others. Right. And then few years ago, I also attended the teaching by His Holiness Dalai Lama. In his palace there's a Kangra, Kangra, we call the place is Kangra. In the Kangra, people complain of haunted house, where the ghost, creating problem, the ghost creating problem. So he was invited there. He was invited there to, to pacify this, suffering that created by, ghost. But then he said, although I do not have any power, spiritual power to destroy, to pacify the suffering. But he did one thing. He did some prayer, and then finally he did, in the piece of paper he wrote, take your body as an example. Take your body as an example. Do not harm others. So he leave it on that house. From that onward, nothing happened. So this is again, due to the power of the meditation of exchanging love, exchanging self and others. Right. And so there are many, great, the stories, which really, tells, the power of this, exchanging self and others. Right. So this is the very, practical and very supreme, form of practice, So yeah, if one say, if that is one's main practice, then it really makes sense, It's really worthwhile, It, from that moment onwards, from that moment onwards will be the most meaningful and purposeful, the greatest, happiness then, comes to. And then, so we visualize, visualize the demerits and the disadvantages of one's own self-cherishing attitude, right? Because, if self-cherishing attitude really, give you something really, solid result, of course, we need to do. But unfortunately, this so self-cherishing attitude, the moment we develop self-cherishing attitude, it one's mind becomes so narrow, one's whole heart is, closed. Sometimes we really do this kind of meditation, the moment we begin to, see the love, cherish others, your mind is expanded, your mind is open. Right. Sometimes I do this kind of meditation, the moment I try to do, self-cherish, my mind becomes so narrow, so narrow. The moment, I try to, self-cherish, cherishing others, try to see the love, then your mind is automatically, open, your heart is open, you are ready to accept everybody. Right? So like this. And then, so we see the disadvantages of self-cherishing, and we also see the advantages of, cherishing others, advantages of cherishing others. So now you see, what is the, advantages, what are the advantages, what are the benefits of, cherishing others? Right. This I already said, if we cherish others, others will love you. Because we are social animal, we deserve love. We don't deserve hatred from anybody, angry face from nobody, right? So the more we cherish, so this is also common sense, right? When we cherish others, others will love you. When others love you, you are happy. We are happy. Happiness is what we wanted, right? Not necessarily, of course, we can, give some, like Christmas gift, Christmas gift, and then New Year gift, Of course, this is a very good, very wonderful. But the real one is, trying to cherish others, just as we are cherishing ourselves so much, so we cherish others, others will love you. When others will love you, you feel happy. Happiness is what we wanted. And so here we have happiness. This is the purpose, very purpose. Right? So really, you know, we are born to make, we are born to not pay the bill, this bill and that bill. We are not born to that way. We are really born to awaken ourselves. We are really born to utilize our fullest potential, you know. Then, you know, cherishing, you know, advantages. The advantages are, we see, we want to live a long life. We really want to, you know, have a successful life. We want to really live a, you know, healthy life. What is the main causes of healthy life? You know, of course, you know, diet. You know, all this diet may helpful. You know, and in Tibetan medicine, medical, you know, we say diet and behavior. So these are very important factors. These two, diet and behavior, right? So, of course, you know, this diet, you know, doing a lot of exercise, you know, physical exercise, definitely, you know, works, you know, for maintaining a very healthy long life. But this alone not, you know, sufficient, you know. Right. For example, some people, you know, some people, you know, very doing a lot of all these things, but then mentally very unhappy, right? Like this. So, if we really live a very healthy long life, what is the main cause of healthy long life? The main cause of healthy long life is refraining from harm, you know, refraining from harm. So, if we, now for example, if we take the life of others, we will have a short life. If we save the life of others, we will have a long life, right? So, it is associated with cherishing others. No, because we understand, you know, we cherish others, therefore we try to refrain from harming others, right? Refrain from harming others. And then, for example, like, you know, in the 10 non-virtuous actions, the first is, you know, refraining from taking the life of others, right? Taking the life of others. Also, you know, and then very few days ago, you know, there's a one bee, you know, bee on our, you know, swimming pool. One bee. The bee float on the swimming pool, you know. I try to, you know, save, you know, I try to save, you know. And then I try to save, and then the you know, from the water, but finally it stuck me, sting. Right now, right now, you know, something like this. If I develop a such kind of, you know, negative motivation, you know, I help, you know, this small bee, but then that bee, you know, harm me. If we think like this is self-cherishing. This is really self-cherishing, you know, right? So many of the things, you know, involve self-cherishing. Right. This is, and then another thing is, right, another thing is, for example, right, for example, there is one food, one, you know, there's starvation happen, right? Famine may for a broke out, for example. There are 10 people, and I am one, right? Now this small food, not enough to fill the stomach, right? For 11 people, including, right? Now there's one food. This food, am I supposed to use that? Or I give to them, right? Oh, yeah, both we all are other 10 people. Other 10 people are starving. I'm also starving. Now, who is more important? 10 people important or you important? If you try to see from the numbers, you are only one. On the other hand, other people are 10. Right? Other people are 10. So, if we give the food to all these 10 people, let 10 people, enjoy this food. That is cherishing others. Right? That is cherishing others. Not only this, even, so anyway, yeah. Anyway. So, but now the real question is, this, may seem, little bit, some of us may feel, it's impractical, very difficult, right? Sometimes, so when I was in the monastery, we go in the bus, we go bus very crowded. Sometimes, I travel to, there is one place called Mysore, Mysore is a very pretty big city, that we sometimes go for, I don't go intentionally, but, when chance come, then I go, right? And then, all the people, in the bus, are very crowded, very crowded, and then some also ladies, some ladies, holding the, this, how to say, the baby, in their hand. Sometimes I also, got, on the stand up in the bus, but then crowded. I expected, somebody get up and then offer the seat to the, the lady with the, and also give up some seat to the, the poor people, very old person sometimes. But nobody, it's difficult to find. So there's, practical, so the meditation, this meditation and practicality is, I think, very, very important, because, but then if we say, oh, this is too hard, this is too difficult, and this is impractical, if we leave it like this, then it will remain hard forever, Right now we have such a wonderful, precious human rebirth. If we don't do it now, when are we going to do? Life is short. The time slips, from your hand, and then we don't notice, how we become old. In one day, we realize we are old enough. So yeah, this sometimes, putting into trying to do meditation is really, marvelous, By serving, by doing self-cherishing, and then try to, take upon the defeat upon oneself, But again, even if we have to die, with such a practicing, self-cherishing, cherishing others, there would be no remorse. Since beginningless time, we died, but not in that way, ordinary death. But now, even if this, die in such a, thought, it is really marvelous, marvelous, really purposeful, the most purposeful death, right? The most auspicious kind of dying that we haven't died before. Once we have died with this, then we are almost 100% sure that we will either take a birth in Pure Land. There's no doubt. Either we take a birth in Pure Land or most favorable birth, that we can practice Dharma. Right, this one. Right, and then in the case of the taking one's life, others' life, and then also the stealing, most because of self-cherishing. All these 10 non-virtuous actions happen because of self-cherishing attitude. Right. So now refraining from others, refraining harming of others is what is what we believe as really cherishing others, because we cherish others, so we refrain from harming others. Right. Then so we need to think about we need to think about what are the the main disadvantages of self-cherishing and the advantages and the benefit of cherishing others, so that we really get convinced and then want to put into practice, put into practice, right? So after this, then with this training, we then really able to equalize, equalize. For example, relating to this taking, the practice of exchanging self and others. One, I will tell you a brief, small story. Buddha Shakyamuni, once he was born as one guy by the name of Zavepamo, right? So this Zavepamo, Zavepamo, he had, he had a mother, but his father passed away. His father passed away for because his father, the profession of his father was doing merchant in the shore, in the sea, So this sea, one day, his father, the sea, broke out, the ship broke out and the sea sank. So with this, his father died. So Davipamo, he was also interested in following his father's footstep, So he asked his, he asked his mother, what is my father's profession? What was my father's profession? So he refused, to answer. She declined, making some excuse, oh, that's not important, something like this, So then what happened is, so this Savipamo, he gave, because he was doing some PD business, he gave first time he got some profit, so he gave 5 golden coin to his mother. Then on the second time he got again profit, he gave 15 coins, 10 coins. On the third time he gave 15 coins. So what happened is then, so the Sayapama insisted his father's profession to his, he was, he really wanted to know the profession of his father. So every time he asked, the mother refused to answer, taking some excuse, or evading the question. So one time, he become how to say, he become he could not control anymore. He could not take it anymore. This excuse. So then finally he learned that his father's profession was a merchant, selling, doing some, jewelry, business. So his mother doing a jewelry business and died. So he learned this from some merchant. So Jayapamo learned this. So Jayapamo, then what happened is, then Jayapamo, told his mother, yeah, I know my father's profession. You don't have to, hide me. Yes. So the mother was so worried because he did not let his son do this business, fearing that he would die the same like his father. So then, now in that case, I'm ready to leave. I'm going to do the business. What happened is he, so then the mother requested, please don't go. The mother requested few times, but then he don't listen. Finally, mother hold his, this mother hold his feet, and then this Jayapamo, kick his mother's, the head. Kick his mother's head. Because of this result, because of this, action, negative action, what happened is now, yeah, he went to, went to do some marching in the sea. What happened is his ship broke in the sea. His ship broke in the sea, but luckily he was able to cut hold of the one plank, wooden plank. And then the sea wave landed him on some, area. Some area, right? So in some area, this area, very thick forest. And then he went, there is nobody to see. Nobody is to see. And then he keep on walking, and then from far away, he saw a very beautiful house. In the beautiful house, he saw five beautiful goddess. They really, serve him the best food, the best thing for 5 days. Because this is a result of, because he gave 5 coins to his mother. And then after a few days, again he keep on walking, right? Again he saw a very beautiful house where there are 10 beautiful goddess. 10 beautiful goddess invited him, give him the best food, drink, right? Because he gave 10 coins. This is the karmic result. Then after that, again he again come with very nice and beautiful house, nice divine palace, where he was invited by 15 beautiful goddesses. He was given with best food, the tasty food, best flavored food, right? So with this, he has done, right? Then after he keep on walking, and then all of a sudden he saw a very huge house, very huge house, very big, house. And then although he do not want to go in that big house, the house look very very, how to say, very dangerous house, fearful. Then although he don't want to go, but somehow his intention make him go, his motivation, something urge, kind of urge, make him urge to go inside that house. Then what happened is, then he had something that make him, lie on something, lie on some, like this. Then all of a sudden, from the above, from the above, razor, sharp razor, so like machine come and it put into his, hat, Jayapama's hat, and then like, how to say, pierce his brain like this. Now, what is the result? Because this is the result that he kicked his mother's hat. Then the moment, he was, the machine began to, cut down his, head, like piercing the brain. Jayapama make a supplication, make a wish. The meditation on exchanging self and others. May all the sentient beings, who kicked, who, how to say, who did bad things to their mother, who did bad things to their mother, may all their, suffering, may all their negative result and suffering, may all their suffering ripen upon me, purely, ripen upon me only. With this, thought, very powerful thought, this machine go up, and he was instantly revived, restored. Right? So this is the power of exchanging self and others, meditation. Right. Now, after this, now we really, so we think about the, need to think about the, the benefits of cherishing others. After this, once we are well trained, now then we go on the such a very powerful practice, another powerful practice. This is what is called as Tonglen, giving and taking. This Tonglen and exchanging self and others practice, and Tonglen practice are kept secret from the less faculty people. These are what is called as the designed only for courageous people, very courageous, very courageous and high faculty people, high faculty beings. Right. Now here, when we talk about now this again, now comes the Tonglen practice. Tonglen means, Tongwa means giving, Lemba means taking, giving and taking practice. So this is yet another very powerful practice, right? So one can do the giving first, or taking later, or taking first and giving later. Whatever there is no fixed order. One can do either way. But here we better do taking first and then giving later. Taking first and then giving later. Right. Right. For example, yeah, this cup, yeah, I want to drink, if there is a water, I want to drink tea, right? First, I need to, take this water somewhere, right? And then I can put, right? Put my tea, right? So first you need to take out and then you fill another, right? Like this. So now here, what do we meant by taking and giving? Right. Taking means here. Taking means taking means ignorance. Now the main thing is ignorance or grasping, all the grasping. Grasping give rise to negative karma. This negative karma in turn give rise to what? Suffering. So suffering is what we are suffering, and its causes, the ignorance is what we are taking. Right? Taking. And then first we emptied the suffering of sentient beings. We are emptied the suffering of sentient beings. We are liberating we are freeing the suffering of sentient beings. After once we, emptied or freed the, suffering of sentient beings, then we can put back what? We can put back here what we are giving. Your body, one's material resources, your material resources, wealth, and then virtue, one's virtue, virtue and virtue as a cause, and the happiness as a result. So happiness is what we are giving mainly. Right. Happiness is what we are giving. So here there involves a visualization, right? Involves the visualization. One can do the visualization, or Jazongapa and the Buddha Shakyamuni as inseparable on one's crown, or one can visualize the merit field, merit field, one can visualize on the back, and then here, if you are well trained, if you are advanced practitioner, if you are well trained, then the first visualization is taking upon yourself the suffering of entire sentient beings. We visualize sentient beings in front of you, entire sentient beings, and then we visualize. We take the suffering of all the sentient beings in the form of black light. This black light, right? This black light dissolve here. At your heart is a self-cherishing attitude. Right. So this black light, which is the the gathering, is the gathering of all the suffering of the sentient beings, all the negativities, all the negative karma, the ignorance, all these are gathered, collected in this light, this black light. This black light dissolve into the self-cherishing attitude at your heart. Oh, this black, the black light, as soon as it dissolves into your self-cherishing attitude, it really makes a thunderous, sound. Thunderous sound. At that point, if you are, if you are less faculty, if you are less faculty, you develop fear. If you are high faculty, if you are really high faculty, it gives you what? It makes you, the hair on your, skin stands, the sense of satisfaction, the sense of, inner strength develop. Right. So this is the practice, kind of practice for those advanced, practitioners. For the less intelligent, for the beginner practice, what to do is, first, here, right, I am taking the suffering. I'm taking the suffering of this evening, the suffering that I'm going to experience. I'm taking the suffering of this evening, and then I'm also taking the suffering of tomorrow. I'm taking the suffering of tomorrow, and then I'm taking the suffering of tomorrow, and then I'm also taking the suffering of after 1 week, the suffering. After 1 year, I'm taking this suffering. Right? Okay. Now, once we are well trained in this practice, then you move your, the practice, to your mother. You take the suffering of your mother. After that, you take the suffering of your, the neutral person. Then you take the suffering of your enemy. Then you take the suffering of one entire sentient beings upon yourself. When you take the suffering, all the, like as I said, in a black light, light. The suffering of this, all the collected in the black light, and then black light. This black light coming, right? This black light coming into your right nostril, and then dissolve into the self-cherishing attitude at your heart. And then, as I said earlier, it makes the thunderous sound, very, lightning, very powerful, strong lightning. Right. And if you really get a sense of happiness, a real joy, there's an inner strength. Because why there is inner strength is because there's really the sense of voluntariness, no unbearable voluntariness. Then this black light, which is the collected, the collection of all the suffering of the sentient beings. As soon as it dissolves, the thunderous, voice we visualize. Then with this, then from your part, what you are giving all, you are giving all your body. You can imagine your body as the Buddha's body. Your body is then your wealth, and especially your virtue and happiness. You give, and then all this, in the form of white light. White light goes into the left, the left nostril of all the sentient beings. And then all these, sentient beings are, placed, are liberated and saved from suffering. Saved from suffering, protected from suffering, and all this, all the enlightened, all the sentient beings become finally enlightened being Buddhas. Right. So this is right a kind of practicing giving and taking. This is one thing. Another way of doing giving and taking practice is, if you one can, then it's also very good, because you can visualize the virtue. Each of the suffering of 6 types of beings we can also take, right? Because what is the suffering of hell, right? Suffering of the hell, suffering of the now, for example, there are 8 hot hells, 8 cold hells. The 8 hot hells, because there is a tremendous amount of the heatness. They are tortured by the heatness. Whereas in the hell, the cold, they are tortured, tormented by coldness. The coldness is, in this world, we call below freezing. Below freezing is nothing, in this hell. Right. The fire in the hell is 6 times hotter than the fire in our world, right? So the coldness 6 times colder. Freezing is nothing. So anyway, we from your virtue, you have collected the virtue. This virtue that you have collected in the past, that we are collecting now, and that we are going to collect in the future. All this virtue, all this virtue are transformed into the cool, freshing water. This freshing water now, subside the heatness of the hell. Right. And also, then the 8, cold hells, we really, transform our virtue into the, warm water, and then falling into the cold hells. Yeah, pacifying their suffering of coldness. And then the hungry ghost, we, all these are transformed into the foods, transform into the water, First, it restored their body and health, and then we give, whatever food they desire. And then, in the animal form, your virtue is transformed into the wisdom, the light. This light when it touches the animals, they're all the stupidity, ignorance, all these are dispelled. So like this. So this is what is called as, okay. So once we are well trained in this practice, now we do another wonderful and beautiful practice, that is breathing meditation. Right now, right now, what we do is, in the morning, we wake up, right? We wake up, and the breathing is used in ordinary way, right? The breathing is used in ordinary way. Now here, in this meditation, involves, as you breathe, when you breathe from the nostril, first what we do is, when we take, we are taking the suffering breathing. We breathe 72,000 each day, right? So each as we breathe out, as we breathe in, we are taking what? We are taking the suffering of the sentient beings. We are taking the suffering of the sentient beings, like as said earlier. First you take the suffering of your own, right? Your own, and then when we are well trained in that, you take the suffering of, right, one's close one, yeah, and then the neutral person, and then the one's enemy, and then we take all the suffering of sentient beings, as we inhale, we take their suffering, and then it goes through the right nostril, right nostril, and then we give out. What we give out? Your joy, your happiness, your virtue. Virtue, we from the white light, and then it goes, and then it comes from the left nostril of all the sentient beings, and then they are satisfied. You have purified, and the sentient being, and you have also liberated sentient beings from suffering, right? So this is beautiful, so that your breathing is not wasted. Our breathing is not wasted. Otherwise, all the time wasted, breathing come, no, if you visualize, right? So that is the, the most beneficial, way of doing the, what is called as tonglen, taking and giving. So it is very, very, important. It is very extremely important to, to this kind of, practice.
One more question.
Yeah.
So in the first way, you talked about for the high faculty person who visualize the sentient being suffering, white black light enter to our self-cherishing mind.
Yeah. Right.
How do we do giving? How do we do giving in the first method?
I see. The first method, yeah. Again, you emanate the white light. You emanate the white light from your heart, and then then this white light going out towards all the sentient beings. As soon as this touches their body, all their negativities, all their suffering are purified. And they have protected from suffering. Right. It is. So it is at that point, it is it makes very good, if we visualize the merit field. It's very something, very powerful, and then we supplicate, we supplicate single pointedly that may my wish be transformed into reality, right? May my practice also be transformed into reality. So like this, so right. So visualizing the merit field that makes also a tremendous different in making one's visualization powerful.
Do we visualize the mirror field and do the prayer in the beginning, or
Huh?
do we visualize the mirror field or on the head at the very beginning, or do the prayer at the beginning, or do it after we do the visualization and then make the prayer?
Here, when we do, we just visualize, or you visualize Lama Tsongkhapa, and Buddha Shakyamuni as inseparable on your head, or you can do, merit field, on Lama Tsongkhapa, but he's although appeared as Lama Tsongkhapa, but the nature is Buddha Shakyamuni. Yeah, nature is Buddha Shakyamuni. And then there are a lot of visualization here and there. I think too much. I think So these things.
One more question. You emphasize when the light enter to our heart is the self-cherishing part, right?
Yeah.
Self-cherishing mind.
Yeah, that's right.
So when we visualize the founder enlightenment, do we also visualize that self-cherishing mind being destroyed?
Not destroyed. Not destroyed. No. The unhappiness, the suffering nature, the ignorance nature, all the inauspicious, what makes sentient beings, suffer, suffer temporarily and, temporarily and in the long, run. What makes all this, in the black light, right? This black light, the moment it dissolves into self-cherishing, the moment it dissolves into the self-cherishing, it makes a thunderous voice. You feel something, we really feel something, a different feeling at that point. But there is no the sense of the joy, happiness, the sense of very inner strength, different, very, very unique.
Just to confirm, it's dissolved to the self-cherishing.
Yeah, self-cherishing mind.
Not the cherishing others mind.
No, they dissolve into self-cherishing attitude, right? Self-cherishing, not cherishing others. Cherishing others is very important, in it. Right? But here, because all this suffering of others, other people's suffering, where does they come from? They come from self-cherishing. Other people face the problem, trouble, lot of suffering, and but where does that all come from? Simply self-cherishing. Now, this self-cherishing attitude, now, dissolving into your self-cherishing attitude, you are taking others, suffering. You are taking others suffering, right?
When we visualize that we're giving the lights, white lights come out from our right nostril, entering through the sentient beings. Do we visualize the light entering through their nostrils or just touching them?
This, in either case you can do, no problem. Yeah, either way, yeah, you can do.
So maybe another side question. So we always visualize from the right in and the left out. Right? Do we take turns like? We visualize when we're taking,
Mm.
enter through our right nostril,
Mm.
we're giving, breathe from our left nostril.
Mhm.
We take turns, like a left to right, right, left, like the 9-round mixing,
Mm.
a 9-round breathing method, or we always do right and left.
One can also do this, So also, slight different, slight different. One can also do this.
So both ways can.
Yeah, both ways.
可是我们这样
But the important thing is visualization. The important thing is the visualization, the taking, the suffering, other suffering.
但是最重要的呢，是观想说我们把一切东西去到我们自己的身上，让我们快乐分享给陌生人。
So then, with this is all about training in bodhicitta,
这些呢，
cultivating.
这些的主要内容呢，就是关于
I think
菩提心的。
if you have any question relating to the the altruistic mind of enlightenment, question. Otherwise, I will briefly discuss about the teaching on emptiness. I will introduce briefly teaching on emptiness.
如果没有的话呢，师父会很快的讲一下，进入到这个通达正见的理由的这个生活。那我们大家有没有什么问题？
Any question? No question. I'm going to explain about the emptiness
如果没有
teaching.
问题的话，您可以说一下没有问题。有问题的话，没有声音的话，那就是大家说没有问题哦。Okay, I think they have no question.
Okay, then I will explain briefly about the emptiness, right? So the important thing is, I will try to explain those important things, not all, Now, verse 9, right? Without the wisdom realizing ultimate reality, even though you have generated renunciation and the mind of enlightenment, you cannot cut the root of cycling. Therefore, attempt the method to realize dependent arising. So this is very important. Without the wisdom realizing a reality,
没有
Right.
具备通达
even
空性的智慧，
even though you have generated
那么这个智慧是
the mind of
认知到
the mind of death,
实相的智慧，
you have generated,
有
the
已经升起了
sense of renunciation,
以及菩提心，
you have generated the impermanent,
我们已
the
经
wisdom of impermanent.
有无穷的认识，
You have generated the wisdom of
我们已经升起了
right. And many other wisdoms, right?
很多的智慧，以及各种各样的智慧。
However,
但是呢，
if we have not cultivated the wisdom of reality,
培养起
the wisdom understanding the reality,
实相的智慧，
there is no way that you can cut the root of suffering.
接触
There is no way that you can get out of from the samsara. There is no way that you can
断除轮回的根，
freed from
断除从
suffering.
苦中解脱出来。
Right. Therefore,
因此呢，
it is very important, Jetsongaba is saying, therefore, attempt the method to realize. He is not saying, therefore, attempt the method
他并不是在说，
realize wisdom. He is not saying wisdom.
并没有说
He is saying dependent arising, dependent origination.
我们要勤，
This is unique.
而是说我们要勤于的来通达
嗯
缘起。
This is really,
这个是很特别的地方，
unique.
并没有直接讲智慧，而是说讲到缘起。
So, for example, right? For example, I for example, say, I go to some market, big market. There is a very big market, So I went to see the big market. So over there is a very good, car, very nice car, very impressive, fascinating, nice car, From all sides, it look perfect. It really look perfect. But then when I see this, I develop a so attachment. I was so attached to that car, to the extent that I cannot sleep. I have difficulty sleeping. I'm always reminding of the impressiveness of this car, the fascinating of that car, the very, quality, the perfect quality of that car. This, this continue to come in my mind, it won't allow me to sleep peacefully. Right. So now this thought, now I want to remove this, thought, because it was torturing me. It torturing me, continuous, thinking about this, make me restlessness, make me restlessness. I really want to remove this, unhappy thought. In order to remove this unhappiness thought, I meditate the love of all sentient beings. Will this help? No, it will not help. Right. And then some kind of meditation on, the death. Of course, to some extent help, impermanent, also meditation, impermanent, to some extent help. But now to truly, to destroy the root, from the root, you need wisdom. We need wisdom. Wisdom realizing dependent origination. Wisdom realizing the dependent origination is what we need in order to eradicate, in order to destroy this. Right? Because this bottle, grasping, when I see this, there's a grasping involved, I thought this is true existence, So in order to dispel this grasping, meditation on impermanent, of course, to some extent help, but not the final solution. The final solution is I need to meditate on the emptiness of this bottle. The emptiness of this bottle. Because grasping and wisdom, the grasping, the mind grasping at this, bottle, and the wisdom perceiving the emptiness of this, bottle, both focus on the same bottle. So the mode of apprehension, apprehension is different, totally contradictory. So we need this, right? So unless the wisdom is cultivated, there is no lasting peace. There is no lasting peace. Right now, so now it is very, very important to understand what really is emptiness, right? Emptiness and dependent arising. Dependent arising is very popular, There are three kinds of dependent arising. Three kinds of dependent arising. One is what is meant by meeting, and then dependent. Within the dependent, there are two kinds. Meeting means what? Meeting means the production the production and the cessation of the cause and effect. The mechanism, right now, the mechanism of the causal, the mechanism of the cause and effect, the production of the cause, and then the cessation of the production and the cessation of the cause and effect. Because the production and the cessation coming together. So therefore, the dependent arising means meeting. Right? If I don't grasping at this bottle, how can I develop, how can I suffer? But because I develop grasping at this bottle, which then give rise to suffering. So this grasping at this is the result, is the cause, and then suffering is the result. Right. So like this. So this is one understanding of, in Sanskrit, dependent arising or dependent origination means pratisamuppada. Pratisamuppada, right? Pratisamuppada means meeting, and then, so this is, we all believe, we all believe in this, right? In reality, it's, if there is cause, result come. Right? If I develop wisdom, I won't have suffering because I have developed the cause of wisdom where there is no suffering. Right. So like this. So one is meeting. Another one is this bottle. This bottle is dependent on the base. This bottle is dependent on the color, the green color, the size of this bottle. Also this, piece of. So it depends on many causes and conditions. This bottle as a whole, is dependent upon many parts. The bottom part, this part, the another part, the lid. So all this coming together, right? And then the final one is, now this is the most subtle dependent arising. Now this is what the great Arya Nagarjuna, the Master Chandrakirti, Arya Deva, the great Buddha Palita, the great Master Shanti Deva, their unique presentation. The unique presentation. All the things are mere conceptual labeling, conceptual thought. Nothing exists independently. All the things are mere conceptual thought. Mere, you give the name. That's it. Just giving the things exist by virtue of the conceptual labeling, conceptual thought. Conceptual labeling, conceptual, designation, right? Then, now, how do we, so this is the three dependent arising, right? Three, what is called as dependent arising, dependent origination. So we have three different understanding, right? So we can talk a little bit about the last one, the subtlest, presentation, the unique presentation. In this field, if you have good understanding, these days in modern science, what we call as quantum mechanics, right? Quantum mechanics, they have problem because they do not know how to posit the things, how the things work at conceptual leveling. So they have difficult, struggling, finding the reality, ultimate reality, right? So now here, this right, okay, this I can take this as an example, right? How things are, we give the main name, right? How the things are, how things exist, at the level of conceptual thought, at the level of how we, designate. How do we designate this bottle? How do we, how to say, label this bottle, designate this bottle, right? Right. Now, first, I saw this, right? When I go to the, I go to a store, I go to store, or somebody saw this, bottle. Somebody, when somebody saw this bottle, they think, oh, this is a bottle, right? When they see this, they think this is a bottle, right? Nobody thinks this is a book, right? When you first see, oh, this is the bottle. I saw this bottle. We don't say, oh, this is a chair, this is a table, or this is a mirror, this is a window. Nobody, thinking like this, right? So therefore, now here, we say this bottle is the this now this is a bottle, right? This is a bottle. So this is a name, mere label. This is a destination or label. This is bottle is a label. It is just a name. It is label, right? But now at this bottle there is a basis of designation, right? Basis of designation. Now what is the basis of designation, right? The color of this bottle, the size of this bottle, right? The bottom of this bottle, the lid of this bottle, all this come together. All these many factors come together, right? Many factors come together. Many factors come together. So now, for example, one factor, the color of this bottle. The color of this bottle is the basis of designation. The color of this bottle is the basis of designation. The size of this bottle is the basis of designation, right? Destination. Therefore, the one part, for example, like the basis of, one part, for example, like the color of this, bottle. When I see the color of this bottle, I immediately think this is bottle. Right. Now here you see, so this is bottle because I see the basis of designation, the color, one part of the destination, right? For example, the color. So when I see the color, then we say, this is bottle. This is bottle, right? Bottle. So what happened is, now this is bottle. I got the idea. This is bottle. So the bottle is the mere appearance of your mind. The mere appearance of mind. Right? Mere appearance of mind. Now, this bottle, the label bottle, the bottle as a label. The bottom as a label, we designate, we label on the basis of designation.
这样的一个基的一个基础。
If you try to find if you try to find the bottle as a level from the top to bottom,
我们来寻找这个，
we will never ever find.
我们在它的这个瓶子的顶上，我们去寻找它，
This is not bottle.
我们找不到。
This is not bottle.
我们
This is not bottle.
瓶盖它的瓶底，在这瓶底里面，我们去找这个瓶子的标签或者瓶子的概念，我们是找不到。
We cut
我们分割，我们一点点的来分割，
we cut into pieces.
我们去寻
Where is bottle?
这样的一个瓶子的真实存在的瓶子的概念，它在哪里？
There's no bottle.
我们找不到。
Or do we? If now we search, what is called a destruction, destruction, deconstruct, reason,
分解，
deconstruct reason.
把这个瓶子给它分解。
If you try to the so-called bottle, the level bottle, if you try to find from the part of the bottle, the color is not a bottle. The shape is not a bottle. The lid is not a bottle. The bottom is not a bottle. If you try to do this, where is the bottle now?
我们找不到哪一个瓶子在哪里。
If we say bottle does not exist, then we are mad. Because I say bottle.
反过来，你
I'm now using this bottle. Because we cannot, find, does not mean this bottle does not exist. I'm holding this bottle.
瓶子我们找不到的时候，
I'm really holding. I'm using this bottle.
我们在touch 这个瓶子。
So now, because the things when we search does not mean
当我们
does not exist. Now
不到，
there is no other option. There is no other option
但是
then this bottle is mere designation, the mere labeling, conceptual labeling,
如果说承认说这个瓶子
conceptual labeling. Because
仅仅是我们
when we see the one part, the basis of designation, based on that designation, based on that seeing that designation, the appearance of that designation into your mind, we then develop the thought,
因为
this is the bottle.
然后呢，我们给它安利上这个名字。
This is the bottle. So this thought designate level. This is the bottle.
标记和安利上这个，
Right.
就是我们所观察的瓶子。
Here. Now, this is the reality, but we don't understand. We really don't understand. We understand in different way. So we suffer. Right? We suffer. How do we suffer? Right?
会有为什么会有苦呢？是我们心里面
This bottle.
认识到诸法的实相，
When we see this,
至于这个瓶子，
when we
它是
because
存在的。
in order to see this bottle,
为了看到这个瓶子，
in order to see this bottle, we have to see the part of this bottle, any of the basis of designation of this bottle, any of the basis of this, the basis of the designation
安利这个瓶子
of this bottle, right?
每个部分，它的形状、它的颜色。
But now what happened? What happened is,
但是我们
right,
我们凡夫的这个心会怎么样子来认为呢？
when we say, when we say, oh, I see this bottle, right?
我们说哦，我看到了这个瓶子。
First, what really happened is,
我们首先
first, when we see the basis of destination, right? There are many bases of destination, the color, the size, all this. The moment we see the collected,
当我们看到这个
the collection, the moment we see the collection on which we label the bottle, right? The moment we see the basis of collection, it gives rise to grasping. It gives you right to grasping. Because it gives rise to grasping, therefore, then we begin also grasping this bottle. This is true existence. This is independent. right? Then, because we begin to attach, grasping at this, which then what happened? Give rise to attachment, craving, suffering. Right now, I'm using this bottle. Now we come inside to your own experience. Now we come try to check with our own experience, right? No. Even in a dream, we have the I, the sense of I. This is innate. This is innate. We all have the sense of I. Sense of I. Right. Now here, how do we suffer, right? This is very important to understand. So we know how to apply the method, how to apply the solution, right? Now, although we can present the teaching, but I would rather use the experience or experiential level, how we need to use how we need to use our own experience. Right.
It's 12:40 now. Do we want to continue next week?
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Any question? No question? Yep.
大家有什么问题？我们今天就到这里。能听到吗 ？Hello。
Hearing?
有什么问题？大家有没有问题
No.
Okay, 没有问题的话，那我们今天就到这里。谢谢大家。Okay, thank you very much. No question.
Okay.
I say thank you.
Thank you, Venerable.
Still there?
I say thank you.
Oh yeah. This. I just wait. Yeah. We have in our, normally this is very good prayer, in our Sunday's prayer. This is also very powerful prayer, right? So this is giving and taking, prayer, Tonglen practice, for example. And thus, perfect, pure, compassionate Gurus, I seek your blessings that all karmic debts, obstacles, and suffering of mother beings may, without exception, ripen upon me right now, and that I may give my happiness and virtue to others, and thereby invest all beings in bliss. So this is very powerful, prayer, very good prayer.
I have the Chinese accent.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, that's good. Okay, then we discuss the remaining emptiness next week. Okay.
下次跟我们接着来讨论关于通信方面的这个部分。那这个课呢，大概2个星期就会结束这样。I think we will have this class 3 more weeks.
3. Let me see. If people interested in emptiness, then I can expand, Then otherwise, I'm not sure. If people don't.
多花点时间来讲，如果大家没有什么兴趣呢，他可以从下次结束，这样子。所以，我们多积极的多看一些相关的资料。
If not understanding, then not much use.
所以呢，大家自己看有什么问题不懂的呢，就立马提出来。OK， 那好，那今天就这样子啊。那感觉大家都没有什么人说话。
李基，我有个建议，我们每次听闻佛法之后，是不是应该一起回向，还是请你们大家一起回向？
So Angela says that after every class,
Mm.
do you want to lead a dedication prayer?
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
他说师傅说回向很好。
Oh, there's no problem, you know.
Do you want to lead the dedication right now? Or ask them to do themselves?
Yeah, if they can do themselves, I can, you know. I think this one, yeah, this reminded me. So what we do is I read this in Tibetan, right? You visualize. I read this in Tibetan 3 times. You need to visualize. So it is dedication, you know. So later we read, you know, together. Yeah.
It's the self exchange.
Oh yeah, this practice, you know, important. What we discuss, you know, what we discuss exchanging. Now here is the it.
就是呢，他会念刚才那个颂语，但我呢，他会念很慢的这样来念，就是我们做菩萨相望，就是具尊恩师大慈悲，不变有。 做这样的一个
visualize important.
这个他会念，然后我们这样的呢，我们这样做观想，就刚才讲课他不讲了嘛，我们把一些众生的苦到自己身上把自己的功德呢给其他的众生，我们做这样子的观想，我们不用念他会念，我们这样听着，然后呢做这样的观想呢，就是最好的回向，好吧？我们现在就来做。
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Important to visualize.
最重要的呢，我们来观想，我们听他念就好。
Tena jizin lama tuje je ma yu dove di di ma le tanda da la mi ma ta la ye de ge shin la tang wa ye ro ge de dan de ba jing de ne ji zu la ma tu ji chen ma yo do ve de ji du ye ma le tan da da la mi ba ta da ye de ge shi la tang wa yi zhou ge de dan de ba jing ye lo tene ji zu la ma tu ji ma yu zhou ve de ji du ye ma le tan da da la mi ba ta da ge de ge shi la tang wa yi ro ge de dan de ma chi ge lo. Okay. Yeah, done. Thank you.
今天那就这样子，谢谢大家。
谢谢师父，
谢谢。
谢谢大家的
Oh, yeah, you're welcome, everybody. Everybody, thank you.
一个 Chinese 呢。
谢谢. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Venerable.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, Venerable.
Oh, up, yeah, up, done, up.